Okay.
Good. Thank you, sir.
All right, guys.
These are always fun to come out to, but I guess off of a bowl win, off of a win against Florida, off of a win against the way you did against Miami, just how much more excited are you to come out on the road with that behind you?
I mean, it's obviously exciting to be around our fan base. A lot of momentum around the program. Coming off of a 10-win season, there's a great group of players that are coming back that have been able to attract a really good group of newcomers. Kind of just to be able to share some of the steps that have been taken. Some of the experiences that we've had to go through. It's good to see those positive things they're in place, and then you get around the fan base. There is a lot of excitement around our program, and so to have these events and you just be able to be able to have those interactions. It's definitely a good feeling here in February to kind of get all that kicked off.
AZ Thomas and Darius Washington accompanying you. How nice to bring some locals out and have the chance of interacting with the fan base.
No, it's great, and just for guys that are, Darius, who's been around the program for a long time and has just been such a weapon for us, just in his versatility and all that he can do, and just a great young man. He's done so many good things, and to be able to bring him back home and to be able to share a little bit about those experiences and just mix and mingle with different boosters and different opportunities to relationship build and to you'll be able to kind of share his story, and then Azarie, who's here at the front end of his career, and just has already been able to do some really good things as a true freshman. Just his growth, his development, and obviously the overall experience. So it's good to have two guys that are at different stages within their career and their timeline here at Florida State, and both those experiences are great to be able to share, and just for those guys to be able to represent the program. Not only are they great players on the field, but who they are off the field, something I'm really proud of.
With all the pressure that's on college football coaches these days, it seems like a lot of these events have kind of been pushed aside or discontinued. Why do you think it's so important to kind of get out?
I mean, I love being around our fan base. I love being around our supporters. It's it takes everybody for our program to continue to push and to continue to grow the way that we want it to. And for me, I want everybody to be a part of that process too. And you can talk about the story. Anybody can get on and watch media or watch games and do that. But it's another thing when you get to have those face-to-face interactions and to build the relationships for me to feel and see the excitement. And really, it's just what our program means to so many. And that's one of the things that's great about having players here is they come back into their home area, but they're going to meet new people. They're going to get a chance to see people that are supporting them that they might not have that previous relationship with. And I think it's always important to understand who you represent and just what our program means to others and the responsibility that we have. So this is something I take a great deal of pride in, and I enjoy being able to get out in the community and to be able to have events like this just to share a little bit more in depth of what we're doing and some of the steps that are going on within the program.
Do you get an opportunity to develop your recruiting base a little bit more by coming into an area?
I think this is probably not as much recruiting focused as it is just an opportunity to build relationships. And I want people to speak victory over our program. And if it means that people within a community are going to get to know a little bit more about the process of what we're doing and how we're doing it, and if that means more people around Pensacola talking about the great things that are happening at Florida State and some of the the processes that go behind that, and really just a sense of the culture, that's a good thing for us. And it's because it's going to stretch into the into the community, into the high schools, and into around those families. And I think that's a good message to always be able to share. But this isn't as much of a recruiting focus as it is just a relationship building and kind of the investment into that.
Having guys coming back, and I know building a culture, and you really had to do a lot of building of a culture when you took over here, but what does that say about the process of the culture, and how does that all fit into the culture that you're trying to build that so many guys have just...
Yeah, I mean, it just shows how much our guys care. And these guys had opportunities to go and start their professional career, but they believe in who they get to be a part of this program with. They believe in the players, they believe in the coaches. They know that they're going to continue to get developed and get pushed, and that's one of the things that gives me great deal of pride, but it's also a great deal of excitement because they know it's hard, and we push, and these guys embrace that that process for their own growth, but also they want to do something special with these guys that they're in that locker room with, and with some guys that I wasn't. If you'd asked me throughout the season if I thought they would be coming back, I mean, I knew the opportunities they would have ahead. But they really enjoy being a part of this program. They really enjoy who they get to do it with, and when you talk to them, it's just that expectation of improvement, that expectation of growth, and that's all that I can ask of them. Right? There's not, for each of them individually, collectively as a team, that's what I want to see. I want to see us to continue to get better on the path that we're on, and if we do that and we show up and we work the way that I know our guys are capable of working, you continue to build upon the culture that we have established. I mean, I've got a lot of confidence in what we'll be able to do, but it does speak wonders to who those guys are and how much this program means to them, and just how much they enjoy being a part of it.
You guys have been pretty successful with integrating NIL into the student athlete experience. I know it's gone to the Florida legislature to change things, the way things are done in the state of Florida. How will that benefit? Will it be a benefit? What do you see as the biggest upshot to allowing schools to kind of coordinate together?
I mean, I know a lot of our players, and a majority of our players have benefited from NIL, and that's when you're part of a program like Florida State. I mean, just the great fan base, obviously the brand, the exposure that they get, it does open up a lot of doors for these players, and they've been able to capitalize on those opportunities, and now with the steps in legislature that are taking place, I think that's going to probably allow a little bit more openness, just with at least being able to have some discussions that previously weren't that we weren't able to have, or didn't have those opportunities. So probably not going to change a ton, but I think as everything progresses, it's good to see progression, and but I'm sure that'll get a little bit further along once we get a full understanding of all the things that are there, because you still have your NCAA rules and regulations, but just within our own state, being able to have that openness, I think is going to be good.
First time we've talked to you since you got a contract extension. Negotiations, conversations with the university and the athletic department, just how did that go for you? What was positive about that experience, and obviously the outcome of them entrusting the program to you through 2029?
Well, I mean, I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I've always been grateful for the opportunity to be able to lead this program, and just from the first day that I came here to as we've gone through these first few years, and just the belief in what we're doing and how we're doing it. The growth that you've seen in all areas, on the field, off the field, how our guys are representing Florida State, and just the support from the president, the board of trustees, Michael Alford, as athletic director. I mean, in all places. I mean, that is something that I'm honored to have that opportunity, and I'm grateful for the support that they've given and the belief that they've shown in not just where we are but where we're going. And I don't get a whole lot into the negotiation part, but I mean, it was important to me that that the administration knew that this is where I wanted to be, and it was when you look at the longevity of the extension, that was something that that I desired, because I really love it here, and I love the being in Tallahassee. I love representing Florida State. I love the the potential of where we're going and what that's going to mean for like I said, when I came here, it wasn't just for a quick fix. We wanted to do this the right way, and I believe we have. And it's been a real journey. It's been a real process. There's been good, there's been bad, but the foundation is something that I've never lost focus on, is making sure that we set and establish that the right way, so that as we have experienced some success, now it's about building upon that and being able to sustain that and grow to the elite level, to where this program ultimately needs to be. And like I said, I'm grateful for the administration for seeing that growth, believing in those steps, and knowing what's ahead with what we're doing.
The guys coming back, they came back for a reason, right? Do you have to remind them of that, or are they focused?
I'm very transparent in that process, because it is. I try to gather information for guys as they're going through their decision-making process, and that's all I want to do, is present them the information of, hey, these are the opportunities from all that I can help them understand that would be ahead, and but there's no doubt the opportunity, if they come back, it's coming down to work. It's coming down to improvement. It's coming down to their growth and development so they can be the best that they can possibly be. And so there's no, there's no shortcut to that. And so it's, when they decide to come back, I mean, I basically promise them it's going to be the hardest thing they've ever done, because I'm going to push them to a higher level because I have more time with them. And I tell players all the time, I'm going to give them the best that I have and push them to all the things I know that they can do. But with each day that goes on, my expectations continue to grow of them, because I want to see that improvement. I want to see the growth. I want to see the leadership in all areas. And so probably the thing I've been most pleased with, in the course of the first month, and I think we're going in our 4th, 5th week, here in the winter program, has been our best players. I mean, you are seeing them work to the highest level that I've seen them work, because they do have confidence. They have confidence and expectation, that leadership where it's not just me holding the standard and saying this is what it needs to be. They're trying to push themselves, and hold other teammates accountable to that. And we've got, I think it's 18, 19 newcomers that have joined the program. 10 high school players and 9 transfers. Hoping those guys get acclimated, and we have a really good group of guys that have come into the program, and so you see that really from all sides. But I think we're having a great start to our winter program, and we got to do a great job of it. As we now transition to having 2 tour duty workouts a week, rather than just one for the first 4. And now it's really going to, kind of accelerate that process as we go up to spring ball. And then once we hit spring practice, it's going to carry that for those 15 practices, and, making sure that we get all the things done and accomplished that we need throughout the spring semester. But I've been really pleased with, the mindset and the work, because, they knew the expectation, but I see them applying that, in what they're trying to do. So it doesn't take a whole lot of reminders.
How have the newcomers done in 12 duty in the workout program, especially the transfers, because they've obviously been in the college game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a shock to everybody. I mean, it's, we try to tell them in the recruiting process, how we operate, what we do, the things that they can can expect. But until you go through it, it's you don't really know. But I think these guys have done a remarkable job, and you get the initial shock of it, and then ultimately it's about getting better. And I don't expect any of them to come in and be a finished product, and I mean, these guys have done a really, really good job, and a lot of them come in shape, and have continued to grow and develop in a very short period of time, since they've been here. But what I like is I see their confidence growing. I see the just the camaraderie that they have with each other, and just how they're jumping into into this team and this culture, and really trusting that process for them just to improve each time that they get out there on the field. And we need tomorrow morning, we'll be out there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we need that to be the best one yet. And I think our guys are understanding that expectation as each day that goes by.
When you were in college, did you have anything like this at Central Arkansas?
Not, we had workouts, but nothing like this. And it was really when I got into my, I might have said this before, but when I got into my Division I coaching, I was actually working under Coach Todd Graham, and Coach Graham used to be the high school head coach at Allen High School, and he actually brought his staff to Florida State and spent a week watching mat drills, and that's where he took. With Coach Andrews and Coach Gladden, all that group, he brought that mat drill circuit basically to Allen High School, and whenever he got into the college game, that's what we did. So I mean, we've adjusted it, a few things just throughout the years to fit the things that we do, and but it is. We brought it back home because that's where it was so very successful for all those years, and just building that mentality, that toughness. And it's one of my favorite things. Coach Andrews has an open invitation, him, Coach Gladden, and they've come out to a handful of them so far, and they're looking for those same things. They're looking for those steady improvements in efficiency and how we move, the discipline of what we operate. And so you always love when those guys come out and get their perspective.
You had the 3 junior days in January. Did you see a different level of interest from different level of prospects, and also relationship-wise? You guys obviously have a lot more time built up with kids now than you ever have at this program.
Yeah.
Are you seeing the returns on that?
I believe so, and it's really twofold. Yes, I mean, obviously there's a lot of excitement around the program. Kids, they're wanting to get on campus. But on the flip side of it, we've actually now this is the first full cycle where we were able to get out, and a lot of these guys that are going into their senior years, well, we were able to be on campus right during their junior year, and so they were able to see our coaches, as coaches were coming by, or we started the recruiting process a little earlier. With COVID, that was the previous year. A lot of those times that we're stepping on campus were our first time as with guys being at Florida State. So it's totally like this is a first full cycle for us, where you see basically from somebody's junior year to going into their senior year, and now because they know. I mean, when they're out of workout and it's in January, and you've got a coach coming in, and you start to familiarize yourself with the school, the person, and building those relationships throughout. Now getting on campus and having that full experience. A lot of these guys came to games during the fall, and so it's a fun part of the process for us, because you really. Whether it's relationships with high school coaches, getting these kids throughout their high school careers, and just the excitement around the program of what things that were talked about earlier. Now they're seeing them play out. So we've got we've had a really good group of guys that have been on campus in December and January, and obviously that's going to carry over. It's going to be big for us in March all the way through spring ball. So we're looking forward to that.
How good has it been for Brock to be in that room with AJ's been in it for a year, but two much older quarterbacks, and just kind of the conversation, I imagine, has to be.
No, I mean it's great. Just as like when you have that leadership there, that's been like you said. I mean, it's one thing to say Jordan, because you see Jordan, he's been through so much and he's done so much, and he's really he is the head of that room. But when it comes to the players, but then you also have Tate, who's had multiple years, and it's been he's had the different experiences, from being thrown out there as a true freshman, probably before any of us were, or he was ready to have to do that. But you also see his progression and growth, and then obviously AJ having last year, and so to have that group to kind of bring Brock along. I mean, he's hit the ground running. He's doing a wonderful job in the meetings. Really just in the workouts. I mean, he's tough, and I mean he's athletic. He's doing the things that we want from him. Now we'll get to the football part of it, once we get started with practice. But I mean, when it comes to the mental part, I mean, he had a really good foundation coming in. But I think he's doing a really nice job here. As we're getting kick started.
Patrick Surtain, how did that kind of come about, bringing him on staff, and what does he bring in terms of technical aspects and recruiting?
Well, I mean, it's Pat's great, and it's you go back. It always goes back to relationships, and that was one of the few places when I first got the job here that I was able to get out to in that first January, and we had a previous relationship just with a couple connecting people, I guess acquaintances that I'd known of him, and there had been a couple of his players that had came up to a previous stop when I was at Memphis, and so I knew of him. Obviously when I came here, was able to build a relationship, whether it was there in person. We talked on the phone multiple times. As when he was the head coach at American Heritage, and then obviously got the opportunity to go and be in the National Football League, and when we had the opportunity, it was not something I knew that where his interest would be, but I knew as a man, as a developer, as a obviously the knowledge of the game, just who he was, that there would just from the beginning, I thought this could have a chance to be a really special fit. And then obviously as the first phone call, I mean, it was something that he was really excited about, and for a lot of the reasons I know he's already shared with me, just to be able to make an impact. And you feel that from the day that he stepped foot on campus, and it was as we went through the interview process, and just getting to know more about the situation, and him being able to ask questions, and us being able to just the confirmation that this was the right fit and the right man for the job. I mean, I think it's been an absolute home run. Our players, he's so. The technical aspect of the game. He's a great teacher. His knowledge, personal knowledge, him as a coach, as a leader. He's been a head coach, so he's learned how to work with a lot of different personalities. His personal experiences and things that he's learned throughout the years, and been able to implement. You feel the players and how they are embracing the things that he's asking them to do, but it still always comes down to the relationship, and I think that's the greatest quality that he has. Is just, I mean, he's a wonderful man, and he is a developer of talent, but also a developer of men, and he's been wonderful for our staff so far.
We've hit a quarter after. You want to take one more, Coach?
Yeah, we'll get one more if that's good.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the linebacker position. In Florida State over the last 5 years or so, we haven't been able to recruit a lot of linebackers, but this class you got 3. What's your philosophy about the linebacker position? What are you looking for? And
well, we're looking for playmakers and guys that, in today's age of college football, that position and what they're being asked to do, and for guys having to be able to play in space, obviously the physicality of it, guys that can run sideline to sideline, that versatility is really important to us. And this last year we took a big step, and you saw guys, obviously with Tatum coming in, that was he was a great player for us. But you also see Kalen DeLoach and his development, DJ Lundy, his development. We took guys that were really at other positions too, like a Brennan Gant that was able to move from safety down to linebacker as his body has grown and developed. And so I really like what I'm seeing there. Unfortunately, Steven Dix was injured, but I think he's having a really good spring to see where he's gonna go. Omar Graham was a young man that we signed him, and we knew we wanted to sign a high school player in a transfer last year because we had guys coming back, but we wanted to really have that balance. And Omar's done a remarkable job. I think he's going to be a great player here. And then in this year's class, we're going to have we could have 2 or 3 linebackers that are in their last year, or potentially in their last year here. And so being able to get 3 younger guys that I think all have great versatility, but all have a unique skill sets in what they can do, how they run, the physicality, the playmaking ability that they show. So I'm excited about that group that we have, and they're going to be able to learn under some really talented players, but also bring a great deal of competition into that room. All right, guys. Thanks. Absolutely.